You've probably heard about freezes before. It's these gravity-defying moments when breakers stop time and stop their body mid-air. Well, and in this video I will be showing some very basic body balances or freezes that you can try at home, because this concept is not only reserved for high-skilled breakers or acrobats. No, also you can play with it. So, without any further ado, let's directly jump into the warm-up. Alright folks, let's start super simple with some basic wrist shakes. Do this for a minute or two and we continue into wrist circles. Interlace your fingers, also on the other side, and simply give them a couple of nice circling motions. From then we go into a neck stretch. Simply stretch one arm sideways and the head into the other direction. Simply keep doing this and we go into neck loadings next. One of the most important warm-ups for this part. With time and practice, you go from these basic switches to these high switches. This could be a skill that you will work towards. Also, go about this pattern in a side-to-side motion and finally in a circular motion as well. In order to fine-tune our balance, we go for shin balances. Make sure to breathe easy in this one, calm yourself down so you can balance nicely. Try to sit down and get back up without tapping the other foot onto the floor. Warm-up completed, let's get going. This very first pattern, the tower, is really one of my favorites. The first thing to figure out is a correct hand placement. Basically you want to rest your thigh in between your thumb and index finger, so you can really rest your pelvis onto your arm. Figure out how you can go from side to side, and already this should be a very nice stretch for your spine. Next up we can try to go for foot taps. Shifting the weight from one side to the other, tapping the floor, and you can also try this in a crossed over way. It's a little bit more difficult, but you can figure it out. After learning this one, we can go for the arching tap. You try to tap diagonally backwards towards the floor, also doing it with the other leg. Now for this one we need again a correct arm placement, more towards the bum this time, so you can really place your leg down onto the floor. Note, your wrist shouldn't be hurting in this one. You try to correctly find a position that works for you. Why not play with the scorpion, the straddle, the cross leg or the candle? Next up, let's figure out how to enter the shoulder stand. It is kind of like a roll. You want to fold your arm into the floor so you can meet the floor with the shoulder. Place your head also against the floor and now you have a nice triangle to balance on. In order to balance, simply give your legs a couple of taps and try to hinder yourself from overbalancing. You want to keep your pelvis right over your shoulder. Now, the arm on the floor, I like to keep it bent so it really supports me nicely. The cool thing with all of these freezes, you can play with various leg shapes. Simply try to see what sparks joy. This side pattern is something that I really like. And then of course you can also try to go for a hand-free version, or even trying to change from one side via a neck roll to the other side. After having worked on the floor, let's now transition to cool headstand variations. But before,
I am teaching this year 2025 plenty of Acrobatics Lab movement workshops. These are weekend workshops where we dive into topics such as falling and rolling and meeting the floor. I'm so thrilled to announce that I'm coming yet again back to Northern America to teach 3 acrobatics labs workshops, one in Boulder, one in Vancouver, Canada, and one in Philadelphia in the United States. You can check out the video description and you will find all of the information and how to sign up to these workshops.
For this hybrid of a headstand and a forearm stand, place the head onto the floor, one forearm and the other hand so you can really support yourself. Try to give it a couple of kick-ups and again try to catch your pelvis just over your head and tuck your legs in to find a good holding position. This one you could also practice against a wall so you don't fall over. But once you have the balance, all should be good. Falling, by the way, is not a problem at all, just tug your head and you can take a roll. Once mastered a basic balance, you can of course again play with various leg shapes and on top of that also figure out switches from one side to the other. Now these ones are incredibly fun but take a couple of minutes to really figure out. And with minutes I can also mean days or weeks. Really take your time. This is a journey, you don't need to hurry. What is super cool now, when you have an elbow on the floor, you can try to place your knee on top of it, kind of like a shelf. And this gives you already some interesting ways to work and freestyle with. When you are new to these headstands, your neck can start to hurt a little bit, which is completely normal. So simply give your head a nice little shake, open up your chest, interlace your fingers, place them in your neck and give yourself a nice massage. And this should do the trick. The next pattern is more strength based. So let's directly get going with the elbow stand. The setup is quite similar to the forehead stand, but this time around the head is in the air. Really make sure to place your shoulder directly above your elbow and give it a couple of tries. Make sure that your shoulder doesn't collapse to the front, otherwise you will fall. Stay nice and strong. The other hand simply needs to try out where it can support you the best. In order to hit balance, I like to do the side scorpion. This at first allows me to really balance with quite a bit of body tension, which is always helpful. Arching towards the side, keeping a strong shoulder and a strong push. Of course, also in this one you can try to connect the dots, play with the various leg shapes, and maybe even try to connect your knee to your elbow like before. And this again produces a very interesting shape. I wonder, we had this forearm stand, shoulder stand, all of these different freezes. What happens if I think we can freestyle it. So for freestyling, you can really try to go from any position into the next. I'm showing here just some very basic transitions, but you can really just play however you want to. Maybe open up a nice tune and from there go and experiment. This is an open practice. Now people, this is it for this video again. I really hope that you liked it. Please let me know in the comment section below and give this video a thumbs up. Now subscribe to this channel as well to not miss any of the upcoming videos and use the code YouTube10 as always for all of my online programs. Just a quick question. Do you want to experience more flow in your movement? Then I've got something for you. Enter the Flow is a completely free, yes you heard it, free online program for you, containing high quality video breakdowns. You can simply check it out by clicking in the video description, typing in your mail address and opening up the mail. Download the program, happy practice!